Peterson's the winningest coach in the country in the last 5 years. They have a little bit of blue turf. It'll become green turf at the Georgia Dome for Kellen Moore, a Heisman finalist a year ago. On the other side, waiting in their home state, the Georgia Bulldogs of the SEC. A pivotal season for Mark Richt after a 6-7 campaign a year ago, but he's got a sophomore quarterback who can light it up in Aaron Murray. The Georgia Bulldogs in their home state to start their season against the Broncos of Boise State. The Mountain West against the SEC is next. We welcome you to the Chik-Fil-A kickoff game presented by Hampton Hotels. And it's all part of Dick's Sporting Goods kickoff week. Number 5, Boise State. Number 19, Georgia, in front of a sellout crowd. We welcome you to Atlanta, everybody, on this Labor Day weekend. I'm Brad Nussler with Todd Blackledge. Partner, what a difference 5 or 6 years makes. Back in 6 years ago, over in Athens, it was a shellacking. The Broncos went home busted after Georgia roughed them up between the hedges. And now it's number 5, Boise State, a higher national ranking, and they're favored in SEC country over Georgia.
Yeah, well, clearly Boise State over the last few years has had more success on the field than Georgia, and the Broncos have proven they're not just a trick play wonder. They're a legitimate power, and Kellen Moore is the guy that makes them go, their quarterback. He wins a lot. He prepares and studies as well as anybody in college football, and when he is on rhythm, he is deadly accurate with the football. That's what makes him so dangerous for Boise State.
Well, you know, the Georgia Bulldogs came into last season. They had a big question mark at their quarterback position. That question mark's been erased in Aaron Murray.
Yeah, now Aaron Murray is extremely talented. He has a big leg arm, can make all the throws, very athletic. But I think for Aaron Murray to take the next step in his development and become the best quarterback in the SEC, he needs to take a page out of Kellen Moore's book. Get a little calmer with his feet in the pocket and anticipate more on his throws. Throw to open windows and throw his receivers open instead of waiting till those guys look clear open.
The Georgia Bulldogs were 6-7 last year. That's not acceptable in this part of the country. Their fans know that, and they are so ready for this season to begin. And maybe take that bad taste out of their mouth. Since 2006, you can see it's been a slide. No SEC championship game appearances, only 14-12 in the last 2 years, and they've lost 7 of the last 8 against ranked opponents. They hope to start to turn that around on this first night of the season of 2011. So much anticipation for the Georgia fans. Disappointed last year. They lost the bowl game. They didn't even score a touchdown against Central Florida. But now they come out against a Boise State team that last year went 12-1. The Broncos, who have changed conferences now, they're in the Mountain West. And they're one of 3 teams with 12 or more wins, 3 consecutive seasons, 5 straight years, and at least 10 wins for the Broncos, the Boise State. Clad in all white for the first time, the Broncos, and waiting in the tunnel in their Nike combat uniforms with silver helmets. The only thing that's normal is that familiar G on the side of the helmet. The Georgia Bulldogs, the number 2 pick in the SEC East. They've got South Carolina next week, but tonight it's Boise State, and here come the Dogs. Say they're ready for some football in Atlanta. The Chik-Fil-A kickoff game here in Atlanta in its 4th season. Chris Peterson, 61-5 as he enters his 6th season as head coach. 2 Paul Bear Bryant Awards. He won the Bobby Dodd Award in Atlanta right here this past offseason. He's missing some important players. He'd like to have these 3 guys. With more on that, 3rd member of our team, Holly Rowe.
Well, Boise State has decided to hold these 3 guys out of this game tonight while they review their eligibility with the NCAA. They're submitting paperwork, working with the Mountain West Conference to answer some questions. All 3 players came from the Netherlands to Boise to live. They're trying to get that resolved. They just weren't able to do it in time for this game tonight. Guys, this hurts them because, for example, Geraldo Boldevine was a wide receiver that mixed heavily in their rotation. redshirt freshman Jeremy Ione. He is starting his first college football game in his life. Guys, we'll see how quickly Boise State is able to adjust and adapt without these three prominent players.
All right, Holly, thank you. Georgia won the toss. They want the football. That means Brandon Boykin, who about a week ago tweeted to Coach Peterson, "Coach Peterson, please kick it to me." Then he immediately called Mark Richt and said, "Coach, I might have done something wrong. I tweeted that I want him to kick me the football." Mark Richt said, "I'm not mad at you. Just go ahead and back it up."
Yeah. Well, he actually said, "I dare you." He might have told Coach Richt that he said, "Please kick it to me," but daring him to kick it to him is a little bit more putting yourself at risk.
Trevor Harmon, let's see if he kicks it to Brandon Boykin. Chik-Fil-A kickoff game in Atlanta is underway. Kind of a knuckleball, and Boykin is going to have to watch, hit 2 yards in the end zone, and he'll take a knee. So they sort of kicked it to him, and he lost a shoe in the process. So Georgia will go to work at their own 20-yard line. Aaron Murray set to come out as we take a look at our impact players, brought to you by Chik-Fil-A. Isaiah Crowell, the much hyped and talked about freshman. We'll see a lot of him at tailback tonight for the Dogs. Orson Charles probably will be the favorite target of Aaron Murray. They've been that way since high school. And on the defensive side of things and on special teams, we just mentioned him, Brandon Boykin, not only as a defensive back but a great returner, the all-time kick return leader in Georgia history, in fact.
The key matchup, one of them in this game, the offensive line of Georgia against a very experienced and talented defensive front of Boise State. That's the strength of their team.
It's Samuel on a quick opening draw, and he only got a couple. Samuel removed the linebacker last year after starting his career as a Georgia tailback, and he is a load. Almost 245-pounder.
Well, he and Crowell will be a different type of runner for the Georgia offense. Samuel is going to be a north-south, lower that pads and be hard to tackle. Crowell, a little more shifty, make you miss kind of guy, whether he runs it or catches it.
The second down at 13. Murray, it's a quick toss and got it out to Tavares King. And King gets what he can, but it's not much. It's going to bring up third down and long. Of course, A.J. Green, Chris Humphreys are gone to the National Football League. And so the receiving core of Georgia has a little bit of experience there, but certainly not what they had in those two guys.
First big test for that receiving core and this new secondary. Holly mentioned the new safety, but they also had to replace 3 other starters coming into this season from last year's secondary.
4 receivers set on third down and 10. And again, movements. Everything moved with the ball. So not a good opening series so far for Georgia.
False start, 79, offense, penalty 5 yards, remains third down.
Well, Justin Anderson got the penalty, but I think that was really on the center, Ben Jones, because Justin wasn't the only guy that moved, but the ball was not snapped.
So now they're backed up to the 15-yard line again. Georgia was a 40% team on third down conversions last year, but certainly third and 15 is not how you want to open up the first quarter of the year.
And this is where Aaron Murray, as a sophomore, has to be smart with the ball. If it's not there, it's not bad to punt.
Murray fires deep middle. Had a man, actually. Orson Charles tried to tuck one in there, and Charles couldn't get to it. So punting situation for Drew Butler. Georgia with a couple of penalties, and they'll be kicking deep in their own territory. This is a good guy to have kicking deep in your own territory, though. Won the Ray Guide Award 2 years ago. Was a finalist for it last year. And he can really air it out. And the guy that's waiting on the other end is a good punt returner. Chris Potter averaged over 13 yards per return last season, and he should get a shot at this unless Drew Butler really blasts one. Potter waits at the 45. Across midfield, and he gets drilled immediately. But LKellen Moore and the Broncos will start their opening drive in Georgia territory. Let's take a look at tonight's impact players, brought to you by Chik-Fil-A. On the other side, for Boise State, Doug Martin. Last year, over 1,200 yards on the ground, and he is a workhorse. Tyler Shoemaker, with the top 2 receivers gone from a year ago, he's going to be a safety valve that I'm sure Kellen Moore will look at. And George Aloka in the secondary going to be vital for him, missing one of their starting safeties to call the shots in the back end on defense for the Broncos. Kellen Moore and Boise State at the Georgia 49 with their first snap. And Martin's hit in the backfield. He's going to get out of the line of scrimmage. Swarming Georgia defense brings him down there. Alec Ogletree is there, along with Brandon Boykin.
I think how Georgia plays defense on first down will be critical in this ball game, because Kellen Moore, if they win first down and he's allowed to have the whole playbook on second and manageable situations, he'll pick them apart. That was a win for Georgia on the first down.
Kellen Moore on a pistol set here in the gun with a tailback behind him. He'll give it to Martin. He sidestepped the first man. Not going to get away from the rest, though. Georgia drops him for a loss of 2. And it's Boykin again.
The initial penetration by Jarvis Jones slowed up Martin and stopped his momentum. And that enabled Boykin to get there to make the tackle.
The Broncos, a very good team on third down a year ago. But as Todd said, usually they do much better on first and second down. They find themselves with 3rd and 11. Georgia comes with an extra man. Moore deep down the middle, and it's knocked down by Boykin. Well, our impact player has been impactful in the opening series on defense for Georgia.
I think Georgia feels like their secondary people are athletic enough to really get up and try to disrupt the routes of the Boise State receivers. Their passing game is built on timing and not getting jammed at the line of scrimmage. And that time, Boykin able to get his hands on the receiver and disrupt the timing and knock the ball away.
High snap. And the rugby-style punt will chase Smith to the 11-yard line. Got by the first man. And picked up about 5 out to the 16. Travis Stanaway made the tackle. Well, it was a good defensive series for Georgia to open things up, courtesy of Brandon Boykin. Dogs on offense when we come back. First 2 drives, that's not much, is it?
Yeah. Well, all 3 of their possessions have started inside their own 20-yard line, so you got to be a little bit careful.
Richard Samuel back at tailback. And he'll get the call. And he only gets a yard, if that. That defensive front of the Broncos, I think it gets not enough attention, and probably overall their defense, because everybody talks about having a Heisman Trophy candidate quarterback. This defense is stout.
Well, they are. I mean, look at what they did last year now. They were second in the country in total defense and scoring defense to go with that prolific offense. And that front 4 right now, all 4 of those guys up there, both tackles and both ends, are seniors. They are a veteran, experienced group that has played a lot of big-time football for Boise State, and they're physical.
Second down and 9. Brandon Boykin in the lineup offensively. And here he comes to the corner, and Boykin into the secondary. This might be it. Goodbye, Brandon Boykin. Touchdown. For the score. He's already been a shining star on defense, and now he just lit up the Georgia crowd at the Dome with an 80-yard touchdown run. Blair Walsh for the extra point. 7-0 Georgia. We knew we'd see him on offense, Todd, and boy, did he explode on the scene.
Well, they've had trouble running inside against this physical Boise front, so let's run outside. And Bruce Figgins, who was a tight end last year, moved into fullback, and watch him lead this play and seal the corner for Boykin. It just takes one block. He gets a block on the safety, Iloka, and then Boykin uses that open field running ability to turn it into a touchdown.
Georgia's all-time kick return leader. And now the leader of the ground game of the Dogs. 80 yards for the score. Talk about a game-changing player. Wow.
That was really a good call by Mike Bobo, because it's been tough sledding trying to run inside against this physical front. So let's get the ball into a playmaker's hand and get him on the edge. And if we get one block, which they got from Figgins, it might be a big play.
So now Blair Walsh will tee it up to kick it away to Mitch Burrows and Doug Martin. Just a two-play Georgia drive, 81 yards covered, 52 seconds of possession time. Deep kick, 2 yards deep, and thinking twice about it, Burrows will take a knee. 7-0 Georgia. Broncos back on offense. Kellen Moore, play action. Fires complete to his tight end, Gabe Linehan, and a first down, Boise State.
A good protection by that Boise offensive line, and when Kellen Moore can set his feet and throw on rhythm, again, he's a 70% or better completion guy. Very, very accurate with the football. That's his first down play that Boise's had by far.
Yep. Kellen Moore. Martin picks up the blitz. Moore steps up in the pocket and delivers completion for the first down to Mitch Burrows.
You know, when you look at Kellen Moore, he's not the most athletic guy, but he's athletic enough to move in the pocket. Just move enough to find a window to throw the football.
And now the Broncos go no huddle. And it's Martin on the left side. Broke a couple tackles. He's still on his feet before he's knocked out of bounds at the 39-yard line. Nice run by Doug Martin, the senior out of Stockton, California.
So you just had to keep feeding him the football. Even though he hasn't had a lot of big plays yet, that's his 5th touch of the game so far in the first quarter. And they want to get him the ball 20 to 25 times tonight.
They'll get it another time here. And another good run. Pickup of 9. Down to the 30. Martin, who averaged 6.3 a carry last year.
One of the reasons Boise may be going to the hurry-up is to try to put some fatigue on this defensive front, particularly right in the middle with Kwame Geathers. He's 6'6", 350 pounds, playing that nose tackle. And that's an all-day job for Thomas Byrd, their center, who's only 5'11", about 280. Good situation for play-action pass right here. Now they've got some momentum. They've moved the ball down the field.
Two tight ends in. Burrows comes over to join the trio on the left side of Kellen Moore. A little bit of a play fake and fires down the middle, and what a strike that was to Tyler Shoemaker. Diving catch, and now the Broncos got something moving. A 20-yard pickup, and we've got an injured Bronco down on the offensive lineman.
Well, it was out of a bunch set. 3 receivers to the same side, and Shoemaker comes into the post. And again, that accuracy of putting the football where it needs to be, right in the middle of 3 Georgia defenders, but right where Shoemaker could make the catch. In fact, he's the quarterback.
Yep, he's in the wild Bronco set, if you will. Fakes the handoff to Burrows, and he'll lose a couple. Christian Robinson, nice penetration for Georgia.
Christian Robinson is the quarterback of this defense. When we talked to Mark Richt, you know, where can you least afford an injury? He said inside linebacker, and particularly that guy, because he is our quarterback. Makes all the calls, gets everybody lined up.
Second down and goal, but it's back at the 17-yard line. Moore waits and fires, and he's got his man, and it's a touchdown to Matt Miller. Nice throw and a 17-yard scoring toss. That's the 100th touchdown pass of Kellen Moore's brilliant career. Dan Goodale in for the point after. New kicker this year for Boise State. And he's got his first extra point up and good. Good looking drive by the Broncos.
Well, Mitch Burrows is going to clear out to the outside. Matt Miller's going to sneak in right behind. And again, the accuracy of Kellen Moore. Touchdown Broncos.
3:02 remaining in the first quarter as Boise State went 58 yards in 6 plays to tie it up at 7.
You know, Matt Miller's an interesting story. I mean, this is the first real football game he's played in since the Montana State High School Championship game in 2009. He was a versatile guy coming into Boise State. He tore his Achilles last summer, sat out the whole season with a red shirt, didn't go through spring. Kellen Moore told me on Tuesday when I was out there, he just started throwing to him 3 weeks ago.
Wow.
But he's very, very talented, and obviously Kellen Moore gave him a good ball to catch.
So now it's Trevor Harmon to kick off. Brandon Boykin, Mr. Excitement already in this first quarter, both on defense and offense. Back deep. This time he's going to get a shot at it. Boykin from the 7. And got across the 20. And not much more after about the 22-yard line. 16-yard return. So 2:55 remaining in the first quarter. And now we got things moving a little bit. Those first couple series was nothing but sputter on both sides.
Little nerves, a little over anxious, you know, but now they've settled in. And like Kellen Moore, 6 different completions to 6 different guys, so he's spreading the football around. Now it's up to Aaron Murray, I think, to get going in his passing game. They got the score on a trick play. I expect him to look for Orson Charles in this drive, try to get the big tight end in the middle of the field.
Samuel blasts the first would-be tackler, but then he's taken down. J.C. Percy's the first to hit him, and then Mike Atkinson finally put him on the turf.
Now this Boise State team has 25 seniors this year, and 18 of those seniors are 5th-year guys. So they are mature, grown men who have won a lot of football games and played in some big ball games. So they are very comfortable in this atmosphere right now.
Murray again will backpedal into the shotgun. 7th play of the Georgia drive, but they're going to have to wait until the second quarter begins. It's actually a penalty marker on the play on the field. End of 1. Tie game. Broncos 7, Dogs 7. Set to start the second quarter at the Georgia Dome. Tie game. Boise State and Georgia at 7 apiece. Brad Nessler, Tom Blackledge, Holly Rowe here in front of a sellout crowd. Let's check in with Holly right now.
Bad news for the Georgia defense. Their top inside linebacker, Alec Ogletree, is out right now with a right foot injury. He's been on the examination table. Their athletic trainer, Ron Corson, has been looking at him. They're telling me he's out for now. His body language does not look positive. When we talked to Mark Richt yesterday, he told us the one position they could not afford an injury, inside linebacker. That's what he plays. His replacement is a true freshman, Armando Herrera.
All right, Holly. So Big Tree, as they call him, may not be back tonight. Draw play to Crowa. Broke the first tackle, not the second, however. Nice play by George Iloka, one of our impact players.
I think Isaiah needs a new chin strap. That's the second time his lid's come off.
Yeah. Either that or a tighter helmet. Last year, in his senior season at Carver Columbus, 1,700 yards and 18 touchdowns. Now he's in the big leagues. And he's done a pretty good job after a couple of early missteps on his first couple of carries. 3rd down and 3. Georgia with just under 4.5 minutes left in the quarter would like to keep this thing going, maybe get some more points before halftime. Murray fires on the sideline, and it is intercepted, picked off by Jarrell Gevins. So both quarterbacks make a mistake. Gavins gets it right back with good field position for the Broncos, and now they'll have plenty of time to try to make something happen before halftime.
One of the things you worry about with a freshman back is pass protection. He whipped on the block.
One of the hardest things for a lot of freshman tailbacks is pass protection.
Yeah, and that's the problem here, because you know, not many five-star high school recruits are used to protecting the passer. And he just went to the ground, and Aaron Murray was not able to step into that throw, and it was an underthrow, and that resulted in an interception.
And Jarrell Gabbins couldn't have played it any better with the interception at the 49-yard line. Here's Martin, and he's going to get swarmed under by the Dogs. A loss of a couple. All right, Reese, keep us updated. 7-7 here with 3.5 in the half. Kellen Moore, empty backfield. Lobs one across the middle to Ephod. He's got another first down. The tight end to the 40-yard line. A pickup of 12. And the Broncos have got something working here following the interception.
Yeah, nice job by Kellen Moore recognizing the matchup. Ephod working on a linebacker and got enough separation. And that's an easy throw for Kellen Moore.
Plenty of time. Boise State with 2 of its timeouts remaining. A touchdown pass and an interception tonight so far for number 11. The touchdown pass, the 100th of his career. Martin got about 3. Brad Nessler, Todd Blackledge, Holly Rowe, and our ESPN crew here at the Georgia Dome in Atlanta. Number 5 Boise State and number 19 Georgia locked in a 7-all tie. Martin's going to flush out of that backfield. So it's Kellen Moore firing on a slant. It's complete. Throws a dart to Matt Miller for another first down. Miller's the guy that caught the touchdown pass earlier in this half. Now they change up receivers and go again without a huddle. Georgia trying to change up some personnel on defense.
And Grant Hedrick is back in at quarterback. Again, he's the running quarterback. Kellen Moore's on the sideline. The last time he just handed off. Let's see if he doesn't try to keep the football in this time.
Out of Independence, Oregon, the redshirt freshman. DJ Harper is behind him. He rides it to Harper and takes it on the sweep. And he's got a first down. So it pays off the Wildcat formation that time. A pickup of 11. Nice run.
Yep, and the key to that is to be patient with that fake, to carry it out at the mesh point and really sell it to the defense and not be in too big of a hurry to get it out on the perimeter.
So here the Broncos are in the red zone again, where they are very efficient. Last time they got it down to a 1st and goal, then lost some yardage, but still ended up with a 17-yard touchdown pass. Right now they've got it at the Georgia 11-yard line. Martin, the straight snap to him, and that hasn't paid off either time they tried it, as Georgia's waiting for it. A loss of 1. Take a look at the red zone, brought to you by Verizon. Last season, 47 touchdowns in their 68 possessions. Tonight, I mentioned earlier, 1 red zone possession, and it ended up with a touchdown pass.
Well, the last time Boise State lined up with 3 receivers over here, they came back to the single side receiver. Same action with the back out of the backfield.
They pump it that way. And now Moore down the middle to Ephod. He is in for the touchdown. The big fella took about 3 Bulldogs with him the last yard or so. We mentioned he's a big target down in that red zone. The last time they had it, this time they pay it off. The 2nd touchdown pass for Kellen Moore.
Well, Kellen Moore is going to read this, and he's going to see 2 guys over here, 2-on-1. So he's not going to throw that way. He's got 4 guys over here that he's going to work those 4 guys and just let that play unfold and pick the open guy. He sees the double coverage. He comes back the other way and finds Ephod underneath. And again, when you have a quarterback as savvy and as experienced as Kellen Moore, he reads that coverage. He knows where to go with the football right away, and then he gets it there on time and accurately.
And the extra point is up and good.
I think Mark Richt's got to get his guys in the locker room. And we talked about that edge that he has this year.
Yeah.
He's going to have to call on that edge and challenge the manhood of his offense and defensive linemen, because they are getting whipped at the point of attack by the Boise State Broncos.
So a late interception by the Broncos here in the second quarter led to LKellen Moore's second touchdown. They have the lead at halftime, 14-7 as we go down to Holly.
Coach Peterson, it was a little slow in that first quarter trying to connect with your wide receivers. What started to change in this second quarter?
You know, these first games, you never know how it's going to go. There's not a lot of rhythm established at this point just because the game's played at a faster speed. We got some young guys. It'll take a minute.
What do you have to do a little different to establish the run a little bit better?
Yeah, there's no doubt we need to run the ball a little bit better, but hopefully our O-line can get into a rhythm as well, and hopefully the second half we click a little bit better on offense.
And you gave up the one long play on defense, but what else do you like that you've seen from your defense?
Well, I think they played well except for that one play, but that's the problem when you're playing a team like Georgia. One play and it can cost you big like it did.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, halftime. Boise State on the road, ranked 5th, leading number 19 Georgia, 14-7. As we head to the Wendy's halftime report, Reese, Mark, and Lou stand by. Welcome back to the Chick-Fil-A kickoff game. Georgia and Boise State. And the Bronco fans happy they've got the lead heading into the third quarter, and they'll get the football first. LKellen Moore, a couple of touchdown passes. You take a look at the statistics, so almost nothing offensively for Georgia, Todd, including terrible field position all night long.
They started in their own territory, and that 150 yards of total offense a little misleading because they ran 30 plays. They got 80 in one play, so 71 yards on 29 plays is not very good.
Well, not only that, but the three positions that they were the thinnest: tailback, inside linebacker, and offensive line, and they've had 3 guys go down at each of those spots.
Yeah, they're going to have different guys step up, but those were the key areas that Mark Rick said they couldn't afford to lose guys. Take a look at Richard Samuel there trying to get stretched out. Had the quad injury that caused him to miss a couple weeks of practice coming into tonight's ball game. The other guys were Alec Ogletree, the sophomore linebacker, and the offensive guard, Ken Arias Gates, who was one of their key guys on that offensive front.
So Boise State will get the football first, too, to start this third quarter. Remember, Jarrell Gavin's interception late in the second quarter led to LKellen Moore's second touchdown pass, and that's why they've got the one-score lead. Doug Martin's back deep, the starting tailback, as the kick return man, and he'll field this one at about the 1-yard line. Gets those high knees lifting as he got across the 20, out near the 24-yard line.
Well, this was LKellen Moore on their last scoring drive, and I want you to see 2 things. Number 1, the accuracy of the football, and number 2, no red jerseys around him when he throws the football. So good protection by that veteran offensive line, and if you give him time, he's going to pick you apart. And if you look at his pass charts, a left-handed quarterback, most of his damage done on the left side of the field, and mostly short, not throwing the ball down the field, and hasn't really had to at this point.
He hit 9 of his last 10 pass attempts to close out the first half. Opening drive, third quarter. Moore going to the left side again. Efaw with the catch, but he's hit immediately by Sean Williams, the safety. Williams was shaken up earlier in the first half as well, but he's back out there. We haven't had to worry about huddles much tonight, have we?
I think a huddle's a thing of the past in college football.
Martin trying to test the left side, got a yard, that's it.
You hear somebody describe a guy like LKellen Moore, say he's like a coach on the field. Well, part of that is his decision-making and his recognition. He doesn't allow Boise State to run bad plays. He sees what the defense is, and he makes sure he gets his team in good plays.
3rd and 5, zips another one complete, and another first down. It's Mitch Burrows again. So just methodically slicing it down the field against the Georgia defense. Number 11 doing his thing. Moore again. Complete again, and another first down. Kirby Moore, his little brother, with his first catch of the night. Well, little brother in age, not size. Again, they're hurrying it up here against the Georgia defense. Moore to his brother again, back-to-back catches. Out of bounds with a first down.
And you can see Georgia players tapping their heads. They need out. They need a rest. And that's exactly what this hurry-up offense that was made so popular by Oregon is doing. It's wearing out the defense, and they're not rushing the passer with much energy.
Moore under center. Fakes the end around and then lofts a pass to the sideline. He's got another first down. And it's Gabe Linehan, his other tight end.
Well, they are in rhythm right now. You know, when Chris Peterson told Holly at halftime it takes a little while to get a rhythm in the first game, they're in rhythm right now. That's what this is. No pressure on Moore. They're just mixing and matching. He's throwing to a lot of different guys. I dare say this offense might be even more unpredictable than it was last year because there is no Pettis and there is no Young, and Kellen Moore just throws all over the place.
They've got it, first and goal. Martin hit, a big hit that caused a helmet to pop off. Loss on the plays. Corey Moore, I beg your pardon, Jarvis Jones, the linebacker, made the stop.
The best thing that Georgia has done tonight defensively has stopped Doug Martin. I mean, here's Jarvis is going to come in crashing on the outside. It takes a good line to the football, and they've done a good job bottling up Doug Martin. But they've not done a good job getting consistent pressure on Kellen Moore in the passing game.
Now they got Harper and Martin in an eye set, both behind Kellen Moore. That's Efall, the tight end, in motion. Toss sweep to Martin, trying to get to the corner. Smith tried to get him, but couldn't. Touchdown. 7 yards for Martin, so this time they don't bottle him up. And he skips outside and beat one of the better defenders for Georgia to the corner of the end zone.
We got a really nice block from his tackle, Nate Potter, and the tight end, Kyle Efall, and then he just beat the last guy himself, Brandon Smith. Have trouble running inside, bounce it outside, and a touchdown for Boise State.
Oh, that was a good-looking drive. Took just under 4 minutes to go 76 yards, and they score on the ground for the first time tonight. So the 5th-ranked Broncos extend their lead courtesy of their star tailback. 21-7, Boise State. Broncos now with a 2-touchdown lead. And right. Trivia question answer, which was Brandon Boykin, 4 career returns for touchdowns, tied with 2 other players in the SEC. Who were they? Willie Galt, the speedster from Tennessee, and more recently Felix Jones of Arkansas, now with the Dallas Cowboys. Well, Georgia would love to see number 5 on the kick return for a score from Boykin because he's been the only offense so far tonight. He'll get a chance. Brandon will take it at the 1-yard line. And they've got him dialed in, and he almost lost the ball. Covered it himself at the 15. But there, again, the starting field position is actually getting worse. We told you at one time the average was the 18-yard line. It's going backwards, Todd.
Well, and this is a credit to Chris Peterson, too, because last year, one of the weaknesses of this team was the average starting field position for their opponents after a kickoff was the 32-yard line. Well, they have certainly improved on that tonight. And again, we see Georgia starting 85 yards away from the goal line.
7th start for the Bulldogs inside their own 20. And Aaron Murray has had a very, very tough night so far. Play action. And this throw is on the money to Orson Charles. Pickup of almost 12 and a first down.
See, they went to the I formation play action pass because that's their best pass protection. That's a 7-man pass protection. They had trouble blocking this front of Boise State. Boise's not a blitzing team. They usually just bring 4, maybe 5 guys at the quarterback. But that play action pass picks everybody up.
By the way, the big tailback, Richard Samuel, even though he was shaken up at the end of the second quarter, is back in there. Murray's going to load and go deep. And he overshot everybody, including his intended receiver, Rantavius Wheaton. Aaron Murray comes into the season as the SEC preseason choice to be the first team all-SEC quarterback, and he's looked anything but that tonight.
Well, credit goes to this Boise State defense. Again, they are solid. I mean, they were 2nd in the country last year, total defense, scoring defense. They lost 4 guys that all went to NFL camps, and they don't seem to have missed a beat.
Figgins steps in front of Crowell to try to lead the way. And Crowell, the highly touted freshman, has been bottled up pretty much tonight. Pickup of 3. Isaiah finding out this is not high school football anymore.
Well, there's Jared Zabransky, the quarterback in that fateful opening game in Athens. Boise State went on to a 9-4 record that year, kind of disappointing. But the next year, they went undefeated and beat Oklahoma in the Fiesta Bowl, and that kind of put Boise State on the map. And Jared Zabransky said very clearly, if we wouldn't have gone through what we went through in Athens, we'd have never been ready to take that next step the next year.
Well, Jared ended up as a cover boy on EA Sports video game that year after the perfect season. Murray in the pocket, flushed out of it, and downed again. Billy Wynn gets him this time.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised with Aaron Murray right now because he should know that he can't hold the ball as long as he's holding the football. I mean, he plays in the SEC. They have fast defensive linemen week in and week out in the SEC, and he's holding the ball too long. If it's not there, you got to throw the football away and not put yourself in bad situations.
Drew Butler to punt. Nice kick. Back to the 23-yard line to Potter. Potter got a block across the 35. Chris Potter into Georgia territory. Got another block. Weaving his way all the way down inside the 30-yard line. A 56-yard punt, but a 44-yard return.
Well, we've seen Jarrell Gavins make a couple nice plays, including a big interception. He's also going to be the guy that gets the first block on this punt return. Watch Gavins circle back and get the first block that just allows Potter to get upfield, get his shoulders square, and see the defenders coming at him. You got to make the first guy miss, and Potter did that with a little assist from Jarrell Gavins.
We told you Chris Potter averaged over 13 yards at punt return. That one good for 44. And now the Broncos have set up shop at the Georgia 28-yard line with a 2-touchdown lead. Moore wants more. Sideline just overshot Mitch Burrows.
One of the few times that Kellen Moore has ended up on his backside tonight, too. And I know what he's feeling right now. He's thinking the way our defense is playing, if we put another one in right here, we're going to be in great shape. I don't think this team can score 3 times against our defense.
They've got only one score, and that came on not necessarily a trick play, but by using their sensational cornerback and return man, Brandon Boykin, on an 80-yard touchdown run offensively. But the rest of the nights belong to the Broncos. And here's Harper. And Harper broke free. And now a face mask going to be added to it as he goes to the 20-yard line. Brandon Smith got his hand in the mask. And it's going to be a big gainer for Boise State.
It's a bad job of tackling by the Georgia defense. They had Harper bottled up around the line of scrimmage, and nobody took him, wrapped him up and got him to the ground, and then they got a penalty on the end of the play.
This thing's going to take it down inside the 10-yard line.
Personal foul. Face mask, number 1 on the defense, half the distance to the goal, first down.
Not only a good run by Harper, but as Todd said, shoddy tackling by Georgia. And then to add
There's
to the
2
problem.
missed tackles, and then a penalty on the last tackle. I mean, that's not very good fundamental defense.
Grant Hedrick has come in again in a Wildcat formation as a quarterback. The line of scrimmage just outside the 10. So it's 1st and 10 at the 11. Hedrick had an 11-yard run the last time he touched it. This time he's going to bring it to the right. Hedrick to the 5 and run out of bounds there.
See, that's a designed run, and the reason I say that is because they got the tight end Efaw out blocking in front of it. I mean, the back is going out, and Efaw is leading that play. Watch number 80 come and lead the play. As the quarterback gets the ball, he's following the block of Efaw out on the edge, and that's a good positive gain. The second time we've seen Grant Hedrick do that for the Boise State offense.
At the 4-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 3. Broncos threatening again. Harper in there at the tailback spot. He'll get the call. And Georgia wraps him up. Another helmet comes flying out. He picked up maybe a yard. They'll bring out 3rd down and 2. And Georgia's absolutely got to have a stop here. As Todd said a couple minutes ago, This thing goes to 28-7, and there's going to be a lot of people filing out of the Georgia Dome. But with a guy that has the leadership qualities of LKellen Moore, you don't just count on this being a run. This might be play action or a rollout and try to get another touchdown pass. There's the play action. There's the lob to the end zone for the touchdown to Tyler Shoemaker. Making it look that easy.
Well, again, I know I've said it a bunch of times, the accuracy of LKellen Moore, but he threads the needle on this one. I mean, there are 3 Georgia defenders, and LKellen Moore comes out of that fake and shoots it in between 3 guys for the Boise touchdown.
Remember, it was all set up by the great punt return by Potter, and the extra point is good. And everything is coming up roses right now for the Broncos. A 3rd touchdown pass of the night for LKellen Moore as he slices the Georgia defense, and it's 28-7. Todd, it took him a little time tonight to get it rolling, but he's got it rolling now.
Well, he is just hitting on everything. And I want you to watch this play because LKellen Moore is a left-handed quarterback. Watch after the fake. He has to get his body all the way around his shoulders square, and he doesn't even get his feet set on the ground, but he still makes a perfect throw in between 3 defenders. And that's a quarterback who is feeling it right now.
3 touchdowns on the night, 1 interception. I want to sprint forward for you right now, brought to you by Sprint. As you look ahead, Georgia had so much anticipation coming into this game. They thought if they could beat Boise State basically on their home turf, and here at least in the state of Georgia, it would set them up to meet South Carolina in their SEC opener next week, and they'd have all kinds of confidence. You know what? Forget it. There's no confidence right now. Maybe they've still got time with the next 18 minutes to find some confidence and make it a ball game. Boykin from the 4. Brandon got a little seam this time. Boykin. Oh, kicker got him, or he might have been gone. Well, that's his best one of the night, a 40-yard return. We'll see if that sparks Georgia. Crowell off the right side, broken tackle. Isaiah Crowell is his best run of the night, about 11 yards and a first down. Let's check in with Holly.
Guys, before that kickoff return, this Georgia sideline was dead quiet. It was flat. You know, it had been so sky-high, electric in here to start the game, the fans and everything, but it's just been quiet. The players are sitting there kind of staring straight ahead, not a lot of talking going on. We'll see if that punt return is the spark they need to get some energy in this offense.
Crowell, this time they'll drop him for a loss. Travis Stanaway and Billy Wynn combine on the hit.
Now, you mentioned Billy Wynn. I mean, you got to say these guys, this front 4, Shea McClellan and Tyrone Crawford, the ends, Chase Baker, Billy Wynn, the 2 inside tackles, Michael Atkinson also rotating through there, Jarrell Root rotating through there. It's a veteran group up front, and they have controlled this Georgia offensive line all night.
2nd down, 11 at the Bronco 45 for Georgia. Murray, the play fake and the bootleg again, being chased, throws on the run, and in and out of the hands of Tavares King. Should have had it, would have been a first down.
Yeah, that's got to be a catch. J.C. Piercy was putting the pressure on Aaron Murray. He used his athleticism to get outside and then made a nice throw, a little bit behind, but certainly a catchable pass.
So 3rd down and long. That might not be 2-down territory at midfield. 3rd and 16 for Georgia. Draw play. Crowell. Got to follow his blockers. Got it to the 42. So that's 4th down and about 8. No, there's some boo birds out now. That's what you don't want to hear as a head coach who had a 6-7 season last year in your season opener. Here we go. And we said 4-down territory. That was about 4 plays ago, but just some strange circumstances have put us in this situation.
And if you're going to throw, if you're Aaron Murray, you better make sure Crowell knows his assignment, and you better not hold on to the football very long.
Big fourth down. Murray fires deep. Man open. Charles. Touchdown. Yards to who has been his favorite target since high school, Orson Charles. Whoa, what a difference a penalty makes, huh?
Well, that's what's called getting frozen if you're a safety. Travis Stanaway was totally frozen.
Extra point is good. And what looked like a dead dog is very much alive right now. 1:19 remaining in the third quarter. And Georgia strikes following a big offside penalty. They go for it on 4th and short. And Aaron Murray hooks up with his favorite target for a touchdown.
Travis Stanaway is the safety who's in the ball game. All right. He's going to get frozen as Orson Charles runs the flag. Watch Stanaway just get flat-footed, and Charles is going to run right by him. Whoops. That's an easy throw for Aaron Murray. And again, the safety issues. Cedric Fabus not here. His backup, Jeremy Iono, is out of the game right now. They're into their third safety and Travis Stanaway, and it cost him that time on 4th down.
And now that sideline that Holly was talking about was so quiet. There's some life.
And it all started with the kickoff return by Boykin.
That's right.
You know, that got the energy going. And then the offense came through with a couple plays, and the key penalty on Boise State helped.
Blair Walsh on the kick. Martin at the 3. Martin, good boy. He took a shot, but he did get it out on a 23-yard return. How can the Georgia defense make a play? Here's Harper. And Harper ekes out about 3 yards. It'll bring up 2nd down and 7. There's Julie Moore. Newlyweds, Kellen and the former Julie Wilson. Got married in the offseason. Kellen also graduated with a degree in communications in May, so he's in grad school. It's a lot to handle. Grad school, football, wife. You know, I don't know which one's harder or tougher. None of them are easy. 2nd down, 8. Georgia shifting defensively. Kellen Moore drops the throw over the middle again to a wide open Burrows. And he's got another 1st down. Let's check in with Holly.
The defenders are continuing to fall for the Georgia Bulldogs. Their nose tackle, Kwame Gathers, number 99, is over on the sideline. He's got a big ice pack up underneath his shoulder pads on his right shoulders. Guys, he's the man they were relying on to hold that point. So in his place, you see number 6, John Jenkins. He's a big man, but he is a JC transfer. This is his first football game at the Division I level. Let's see how he holds the point.
He's actually heavier than Kwame by a pound. 351 compared to 350.
He doesn't look as big with that number 6, though.
No, he doesn't.
The single-digit jersey. Not sure what he's going for there.
Trying to look slim.
That is the end of the third quarter.
Into 3. Boise State on the road. Georgia fans are hoping the 4th quarter brings them some magic. 28-14 Broncos. With Todd Blackledge and Holly Rowe, I'm Brad Nessler at the Georgia Dome as we are set to start the 4th and final quarter. Georgia scored in that 3rd, but Boise State got 2 big touchdown passes from LKellen Moore, and they've got a 2-score lead here and the ball in the final 15 minutes from their own 37-yard line. This guy has been almost perfect tonight. Mitch Burrows, the motion man. He's been a busy receiver tonight. They flip it out that way, complete it to Dallas Burrows. True freshman.
Well, that's Kellen Moore's 25th completion of the night. And only his longest gain has been 20 yards. Again, it's been a different attack this year without Titus Young and Austin Pettis and the big plays down the field. But he has spread the ball well to a lot of different receivers, and now we see Grant Hedrick back in on 2nd down.
He's run effectively. 2 of the plays he's been in tonight. This time he gives it off to Harper. Harper bounces it outside. He's got a big gain. Sanders Cummings runs him out of bounds, but not before he got it to the 44-yard line of Georgia.
There's a nice job of DJ Harper bouncing it outside. I mean, he's going to go up in here, and it's going to get stymied. And he bounces it out, and that's poor contain on the outside by Jordan Love, number 10. I mean, he's got to keep contain and keep that runner on his inside shoulder. And that was easy for Harper to bounce outside because of the bad angle of Jordan Love.
Boise State in command here with a 2-touchdown advantage. Kellen Moore flushed a little bit out of the pocket, throws on the run, and incomplete, broken up by Jordan Love. Oh, and a flag comes in late. Looked like he made a decent play, but got there a hair too early maybe with that left arm over the top.
Well, I thought it was a good play when I first watched it, and it was a good job by Jarvis Jones forcing Kellen Moore to leave the pocket and throw on the run.
Pass interference, number 10, defense. Automatic first down, 15-yard penalty.
And normally when this happens, as you watch the route, you get called if your backhand is on the receiver. But his right hand, there's the right hand. That's where the penalty was. He knocked the ball away with his left hand, but the right hand was grabbing the right shoulder, and the official had a perfect sight of that to make the call.
7th penalty against Georgia. And now Boise State closing in on the Georgia end of the field again inside the 30. Moore end around to Burrows. Good run by Burrows, who's been a big part of this offense tonight. He reminds me a little bit of a Wes Welker type of guy. He's all over the place.
You know, we've said so much about Kellen Moore and what he's done, but we should also tip our hat a little bit to Brent Peace, the offensive coordinator. In his first year, he's been the wide receiver coach here for the last 5 years, and he took over for Brian Harsin, who succeeded Chris Peterson as the offensive coordinator. There's Brent. And Harsin went to Texas, and Brent Peace went to Indiana for 5 days and then came back to be the coordinator here.
Hedrick again will hand it off this time to Harper, and no gain on this one. Avery Jones made the stop. Time becoming a factor here with 12:35 remaining. Boise State's never beaten an SEC team. 0-4 against SEC opponents. Lost to Arkansas a couple of times. Georgia, we mentioned 6 years ago, and South Carolina. But that stuff was all 5 years or more. And they've won 61 games out of 66 since then. So you can put that stat to bed, I think, if you're an SEC fan. Because this team is all it's cracked up to be so far. And on this night, and now Harper on the way to the end zone. All the way to the 2.
Well, they really outflanked the Georgia defense that time. They brought motion with the tight end. They had both tight ends on that side of the field, both Efall and Linehan. They have big Nate Potter, number 73, their best offensive lineman over there, and they outnumbered the Georgia defense on that power sweep.
Now it's 1st and goal at the 1 after a 17-yard pickup. Moore with Harper to his right. Will pitch it to him. Harper, easy walk to the end zone. Touchdown. And the Boise fans that made the trip from the west to the southeast are pretty happy right now.
Wow. Now that's an impressive answer by the Boise State Broncos. And if there's any question, are they legit? Are they in the upper echelon, the elite of college football? Absolutely.
76 more yards in 4:42. Now they make it 35-14. And now Georgia has got a ton of work to do because the Broncos from Boise State are on their way to a big opening season win. After another 76-yard Boise State drive, Todd Grantham, the defensive coordinator over there, not that particular position, but he's on the sideline still trying to coach him up. But this is the most points Georgia's given up in a season opener in a long time. And they did such a great job in the first quarter, and then things started to explode on them. And you have to go back to 1974 the last time they gave up this many points in an opener. And that was against Oregon State. This is the highest ranked team, in fact, Georgia's played in a season opener since 1965. But they beat defending champion Alabama in that one in Vince Dooley's second season. Doesn't look like that's going to occur here tonight unless there's some sort of miraculous comeback in the next 11 minutes and 37 seconds. Brandon Boykin, he's provided some of their only sparks tonight. Trying to get something lit here as well. He's got another nice return as he's run out of bounds on the far sideline after a 25-yard run back. Even though Samuel's been hobbled at times, he's back out there trying to block for Murray on this first down pass. Deep down the middle, incomplete. Tavares King, the closest guy, but George Iloka, the safety, is all over it.
No, I would say that the issue rests a little bit more with the Georgia offensive line than the backs that are here or not here. You know, last year they ran for 143 yards a game. That was 73rd in the nation. If you want to win in the SEC, you've got to run the football a little bit better. And Georgia has such a rich history and tradition of being able to run the football.
Yep.
And, yeah, they're a little bit decimated at that position right now. But offensive line-wise, they had their hands full tonight with this Boise State front four.
Murray fires, completes. And that was Malcolm Mitchell, a true freshman. There's the loss of a lineman. Canarius Gates, one of the starters who was shaken up tonight for Georgia. Murray fires, complete. Nice throw. A heck of a catch. Antavius Wooten. He had a guy draped all over him and still made the grab. Pick up a 14. Aaron Murray, a touchdown and 144 yards with an interception that was really costly late in the second quarter that led to a Bronco touchdown going in before the half.
If you're Georgia here, I mean, you don't give up on this. And even if some of the fans or a lot of the fans decide to leave and go on with the rest of their evening, you still have work to do here if you're the Bulldogs.
Murray trying to work it deep middle. What a strike! You're right, touchdown! Malcolm Mitchell. It's not over yet. That was a laser shot to Mitchell, the freshman.
Murray's going to hang in there under pressure, and Malcolm Mitchell has great speed. Aaron Murray said, I can throw it as far as I want to this guy, and I'm not going to out-throw him. And that was a beautiful throw by Murray for the touchdown.
69 yards in a hurry. The capper to Malcolm Mitchell from Murray. So there's still life in the Georgia Dome with the Dogs. They cut the deficit down to 35-21. Well, about 4 seconds after my partners said that Georgia's got to keep grinding, Aaron Murray hit Malcolm Mitchell for a 51-yard touchdown. 35-21. Georgia, so many times last year in their 7 losses, they were in it in the fourth quarter and couldn't finish the drill, as they used to say around Athens. They got a lot of drilling left to do, but there's still hope.
Still a lot of work to do. And right now their defense has got to step up. They've got to tackle the backs, anticipating Boise State's going to want to run to eat some clock. And I think they got to go after Kellen Moore.
Walsh, the kick is deep. That'll help their cause. Bobble in the end zone, so there's not going to be a return by Martin. And that'll put Boise State at the 20-yard line, where Kellen Moore takes over.
Kellen Moore has thrown 3 touchdown passes tonight, and he's had a pretty clean night in the pocket. 25 of 30. He hasn't been sacked yet. The one time that Georgia got pressure on him, he threw an interception, but for the most part, he's been spotless. And I just think Georgia now has to say, you know what? We're going to have to just guard these guys man-to-man, and if they throw, we got to go after this quarterback and see if we can make him make a mistake. This is probably the most highest visibility that he'll have the rest of the way out. Yep. So this was a big stage for him tonight.
Here's an end around. Dallas Burrows hit just after he got across the line of scrimmage by Sanders Cummings. Georgia down to 1 timeout, and Georgia, there it goes.
That is their 3rd and final timeout. This will be a 30-second timeout.
Well, let's take a look at tonight's Good Hands play, brought to you by Allstate. Todd?
Well, it was really Kellen Moore's drive right before the half that kind of set the tone for this game. He threw a touchdown at the end of this, and for the night, Kellen Moore has completed 82% of his passes to 9 different receivers. That's remarkable. And again, let's remember, this guy lost 2 guys last year that both caught 71 passes. One was a second-round draft pick. The other one was a third-round draft pick. And the guy that was supposed to be his big go-to, big play receiver this year stayed home in Boise.
Yep.
And one of the 3 players that was left behind. So what he's done tonight against what I think is at least a very athletic defense, a defense that needs to play better, but very athletic and big and physical. What Kellen Moore did tonight was spectacular.
See if Georgia can come up with a play here. Did they put it in the air? They won't. Doug Martin would like to strip that ball out of there. And Martin, wow, what a run. Didn't get the first down. That's as good a run as you're going to see tonight. Let's check in with Reese Davis. Here we're down at 2:01 remaining and a 4th down. Christian Robinson was the guy shaken up for Georgia on that last play. And the punter comes out. Well, it would take a Brandon Smith punt return to give Georgia any kind of chance to win this because they're out of timeouts. Look behind Elkin as he's going to let that clock go down as far as he can on a 4th down before he kicks it away. And with 1:20 left, kicks a knuckleball. Brandon Smith's going to have to back away from it, and it's inside the 10 again. So his 6th punt that he's knocked inside the 20, and everything really worked well tonight, I think, for Boise State's side, with the exception of that one misfire by Kellen Moore, the interception. Other than that, they've proven that they can come into SEC country in Georgia's backyard and take one home back to Idaho, and it's a big one.
It is a big one, and I'm impressed. I mean, I was impressed when I went out there Tuesday and watched them practice, how physical they looked, their tempo in practice, how well organized Chris Peterson and his staff were. They're an impressive football team, and I can't stress enough the fact that not just Kellen Moore and his leadership, 25 seniors, 18 of those seniors are 5th-year guys. So they're grown men who have played a lot of football and won a bunch of football games at Boise State, and they were not intimidated at all coming into this environment to play Georgia.
Aaron Murray with a couple of last gasps, and that might be the last one. We'll say at about the 2-foot line, Shea McClellan ran him over like a bulldozer. 5th sack of the night for a team that led the nation in sacks a year ago. Aaron Murray just barely avoided a safety there. So Georgia backed up to its 1. They need a 99-yard miracle and an onside kick and another miracle. And Orson Charles drops a catchable ball, and that's the story. Now, as you look ahead, Mark Richt, I live in this state, and I know one thing. If South Carolina beats Georgia next week and they start 0-2, you talk about hot seat for a head coach. He's going to feel like they're cooking lobsters under his rear end. It's just going to be that way. And again, that Boise State defense all over Georgia after a short gain on the play by Orson Charles. So all the hope and the hope and prayers, I guess, of the Georgia Bulldog fans around here to open up the season against a higher-ranked team who was favored. It's going to go all for naught.
But you know what? The #1 goal for Georgia is to win the SEC East.
Right.
Okay, and that starts next week. I mean, yeah, this is disappointing, but the real season for Georgia starts next week in Athens.
Boise State after a 12-1 finish last year. Their lone blemish, an overtime loss to Nevada. They come into SEC country, and boy, the folks that made the trip in their blue and orange are some happy campers. They're about the only ones left in the Georgia Dome, by the way. The rest of the Georgia fans that were dressed in red are now disguised as red seats here where the Falcons play their home games.
Well, this was a great environment tonight. The folks at Chik-Fil-A and the bowl ought to be proud. This is a nice ball game, a great event. Had a wonderful time last night at the aquarium.
Sure did.
Checking out the beluga whales while we ate steak. That was pretty nice.
At least it wasn't a seafood dinner.
Yeah.
Well, Boise State, they did some eating tonight as they chew up Georgia. First win over an SEC team ever. As Chris Peterson and Mark Richt meet at midfield in a big, big win and a great way to start for the Broncos on the season. 35-21 over Georgia. Could it be their chance to run the string, run the table, and maybe win a national championship? They got a lot of work left to do, but they're off to a good start. Let's check in with Holly.
Well, I'm with Kellen Moore, and Kellen, your offense really started to pick up in the second half. What created that rhythm for you and your receivers?
Yeah, I think it was a lot of tempo. I think we really got in that no huddles stuff, and really just getting positive yards, positive run plays, getting completions, moving it down the field, and it would kind of take a while, 4-quarter game, and that's how it happened.
You had some new faces at wide receiver. How hard was it to have faith in them early and get in that rhythm?
Oh, it's fun. We're not perfect. We got a few mistakes, a turnover where that's on me, and you got to learn from those things and get better.
A lot of people thought your lines might be overmatched just from a size standpoint tonight. How do you describe the play, both your offensive and defensive lines?
I think Thomas did all right against the big boy. So, hey, they've been playing for a while. They know how to play. They do a great job, and we knew they'd be a talented team, and that's the case.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
He's talking about Thomas Byrd, his center, all of 5'11", going against those big nose tackles. And his wife can smile now. Be a nice weekend, I'm sure, the rest of the Labor Day at the Moore house after her husband puts up Heisman-type statistics in the opening win of the season for the Broncos of Boise State. 35-21 is the final. That's going to wrap it up for Todd Blackledge, Holly Rowe, and our entire ESPN crew. From Atlanta, Brad Nessler saying goodnight. Sports Center with John and Linda is next.